flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Helsley.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
Voigt.
Here.
Zuber.
Here.
Bruner.
Here.
Farnham. Here. Jennings.
Here. Has everybody read the minutes of the May 13, 2015 meeting? Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the May 13, 2015 minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Claims against the county. Has everybody looked over the claims against the county? If there's no problems, I would entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
We have a motion to second to approve the claims against the county. All those in favor by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. County board members' claims.
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman. Approve those. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the county board member claims. All those in favor by the usual sign.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 7, recognition of retirement of Rebecca L. Clark. You'd come up forward. Edgar County Board would like to extend their sincere appreciation to Rebecca L. Clark for 32 years of service in the county clerk recorder's office. Your dedication to the residents and the taxpayers of Edgar County is greatly appreciated. Best wishes on your retirement.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
I'd just like to thank all the board members, past and present, for everything, for keeping this building as beautiful as you have and taking care of it. It's a hard job, I know, but I just appreciate all the things that have come here and enjoy it.
Thank you again.
You want to
Item 8, public comment.
Morning. My name is Robert Bogue. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a resident of Edgar County, Illinois. This morning I want to talk about the airport and the reputation of the airport a little bit and a grant application. The facts are, your airport manager that has lied on his resume and about his qualifications remains at the airport. That affects your reputation. His continued presence at the airport undermines your reputation. That's all I'll say about that. Talk about the grant application. I don't recall in the county board meetings that anyone has disclosed it's for $1,110,325. I don't recall anyone saying that that represents or would, if it were allowed to continue, a $40,000 investment by the state of Illinois and a $70,000 investment from the residents of Edgar County. If you haven't looked into the project, essentially it's a parking area. It's not a taxiway to get onto a runway. It's a parking area for transient airplanes. Just as the last application, it's a fraudulent document. Why? Why do I say that? Well, you claim there are 16 aircraft present and residing and flying at the airport in this grant application. There are not 16 airplanes. This is a little bit like the first grant when you said there were 35 airplanes at your airport, and then after a length of time and some proof came forward, you discovered there were only 16. There were 16 aircraft at the airport 3 years ago on February 13, 2012. There are not 16 aircraft there today. How can I say this to you? The Edgar County Board put in effect a policy in the fall of 2013 that all aircraft owners would offer $1 million of insurance policy and additional coverage to the county, naming the county as additionally insured. You say that correctly. That was in the fall of 2013. In February 2015, I submitted a FOIA request to Augie Griffin that went to the airport. I asked for the last number of T-hanger leases all the way back into the beginning of the fall of 2013, and I asked for insurance documents. The 15 hangars in use out there, I got T-hanger lease documents for 12 hangars. Oops. And I got 5 insurance documents for aircraft there at the airport. That went on for a period of 14 or 15 months. Even goes on today as far as I know. This county has certified there are only 5 airplanes at the airport during that time frame. What does this mean? The response I received in February 2015 was followed 2 months later by a grant application request to the Division of Aeronautics and the FAA stating there are only 16 airplanes at the airport. That's how you get your money. That's how you get your funding. You don't have 16, you declared 5. There's a problem of lying to the government a second time. But let me continue to a different level. Part of the funding that the airport accesses is called NIPIAS funding. And that's $150,000 that are awarded to every airport for construction and development if they have 10 or more airplanes flying in a residency. Thank you. Look at you guys got the picture. You know the strength is going to come back, and you're going to see it again, and you're not going to like what the FAA or the NTSB or the DOA has to say about what you've done. I recommend you withdraw that application immediately before you embarrass the county again. I recommend that you immediately fire Jerry Griffin. He doesn't belong. I recommend that you fund right now, write a check for $20,000 to the airport and get the credit card machine. I just recommend you fix the problem so the county can go forward and improve their reputation. Another section on county funding, it'll probably take another minute or so. If you want, I'll come back. If you got an extra minute, I'd like to share it with you.
No, your time's up.
Oops.
Thank you.
Morning, Chairman.
Morning.
Haven't been to a meeting in a while. Everybody doing good? Missed me? Took an oath to be honest in these meetings. Couple quick comments. I mentioned to Jeff the other night at the airport meeting, the subject of reputation came up, and I think one thing that may help that, we have a 5-year plan Hanson has as far as the facility itself.
I think it's a little longer than that, but
Whatever that long-term plan is, I think if there was some type of a master plan similar to what the highway department does, but a master plan that outlines what efforts or goals there might be as far as bringing in light instruction, bringing in that type of thing, and be able to assess that every 6 months or a year to see how we're getting towards those goals, and do that on a 1, 3, and 5 year plan. It might help bring back something. I don't know, it's just a thought, but when we don't have an idea where we're going to be 12 months from now other than infrastructure, you know, we've got to have someone out there that can manage that. It's obvious current airport manager is not capable of that. So just an idea on that. The only other thing I have is actually 2 things. Thank you for putting the precinct committee issue to a resolution to get that fixed. We really appreciate that. And the only other thing is, do we have any indication when the board policy or the county policy is going to be amended in regards to elected officials getting benefits? Has there been any update on that? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a quick one. I talked about the emergency notification. My phone is now fixed. I don't know the rest of it. There was an issue with where I was in test, clicked on the test thing instead of notification. So I had a couple other things, but I forgot what they were.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
There's a time when we wouldn't have laughed at
Item 9, highway resolutions. Number 1, resolution support of the CSX Transportation Incorporated's notice of exemption for the abandonment of common carrier obligation in the southern region, Nashville, Tennessee, Danville Secondary Subdivision from railroad milepost QSA 21.50 to QSA 22.53. Aaron?
This came up when we were working on the Prairie's Edge project a couple, 3 years ago. We need property there. I'm down by this, the elevator at Prairie's Edge and Springfield Road, where there used to be a railroad line. In order to gain, or to acquire property there at the railroad has now chosen to abandon that line. And for them to abandon the line, they have to ask localities if there are future plans or needs for that line. So they have done that through a letter, and the board is now resolving that that we do support their abandonment of that line such that we can do the improvements on Prairie's Edge.
Any questions?
I'll second it. Sorry, Carl.
Jeff and Carl.
Yes. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick,
Yes.
Voigt,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Resolution passed. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign an intergovernmental agreement with the Kansas Fire Protection District. Any questions?
So moved.
What kind of shifty things they gonna be doing?
Watchdogs are on.
Okay.
I can't speak for the trustees.
You got a motion.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Pass the resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign the intergovernmental agreement with the Kansas Fire Protection District. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick,
Yes.
Voigt,
Yes.
Zuber,
Yes.
Bruner,
Yes.
Farnum,
Yes.
Helsley.
Yes.
Resolution carried. Item 3, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of the CATB number 247 allocated funds from Midwestern Gas Ford to Farnham's Bridge approaches. Aaron?
The county board, I want to say a couple, 3 years ago, approved a petition from Elbridge Township to participate in a project on the Midwestern Gas slab. And that project never happened. So what the township is now doing is petitioning the board to reappropriate the balance of that money towards building approaches to the Farnham's Bridge project. So it was the CATV 247 that was approved, I want to say, 3 years ago. And the township is now asking the board to reappropriate that towards the Farnham's Bridge project.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second?
I'll second
We have a motion and a second on the resolution authorizing the reappropriation of the CATB number 247 allocated funds from Western Gas Ford to Farnham's Bridge approaches. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Helsley?
Yes.
Motion carried. We have a resolution authorizing county clerk to sign and transmit 2 certified copies of revised BLR 09215 anticipation of township bridge funds, Elbridge Township, section 11-04124-00-BR. Aaron?
I'd like to talk about 4 and 5 at the same time. Both of these are revised 9215s, which means the county board has already approved resolutions, or have already passed resolutions for the county clerk to transmit these in the past. 4 and 5 are alike in their meaning. 4 is for Farnham's Bridge, 5 is for the Edgar Bridge. Both projects, after you guys passed resolutions of anticipation, both projects came in way higher than anticipated, due only to the fact that the precast, pre-stressed concrete deck beams were grossly underestimated because of price increases. Farnham's Bridge, the beams were $70,000 more than anticipated. The Edgar Bridge, the beams were $50,000 more than anticipated. So both of these resolutions, the intent is to get reimbursed from the Township Bridge Program for the increase in cost.
Any questions? Would anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for a resolution authorizing the county clerk to sign and transmit 2 copies of revised BLR 09215 anticipation of township bridge funds, Elbridge Township, section 11-04124-00-BR. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Helsley?
Yes.
Item 5, resolution authorizing the county clerk to sign and transmit 2 certified copies of revised BLR 09215 anticipation of township bridge funds, Edgar Township, section 13-03133-00-BR. As previously explained.
So moved.
Could make a second? We have a motion and a second on the resolution authorizing county clerk to sign and transmit 2 copies of the revised BLR 09215 anticipation of township bridge fund, Edgar Township, section 13-03133-00-BR. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnham?
Yes.
Helsley?
Yes.
Item 10, Sheriff's annual, file the Sheriff's annual report, semi-annual report. Does the Sheriff have a report that,
Report on the report.
All I have is
report on the report?
annual total. And, this quarter, fees we have received $44,112. Anybody have a copy of it?
I don't find mine. Should be.
Make your money. Another year.
Like right here. there any questions of the sheriff and the report? If not, I'd entertain a motion to
Accept the fine.
accept the filing.
I'll make a motion that we accept the semi-annual report from the sheriff.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to accept the sheriff's semi-annual report filing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 11, file county clerk and recorder semi-annual report. Do you have a statement
Report on
for
the
it?
report.
Yeah, or do you have a report on the report?
Our recording fees are down a little bit the first 6 months of the fiscal year. And that would basically account for, if you come down towards the bottom, the grand total, that basically is our difference. And we were up in some categories in fees and down in others, but they more or less have offset. But you can notice a difference over the course of a year compared to the previous increments, what the fee study.
That's what I noticed when I was looking at it the other day, that there was a significant difference. And I just wondered if it coincided with that.
It truly reflects
Yeah.
the actual cost involved of providing service and then the revenue that follows.
Yes.
Likewise, with the sheriff's department, we're at, this year, collections of, well, he lists 44. The budget, it shows that we've collected 48 against 31 last year, the period. So you can see where that's having a direct impact also. I move to accept Augie's, or, I'm sorry, the county clerk's report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the county clerk's report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 12, a resolution to divide Paris 5 precinct. Augie, do you want to give a brief synopsis?
We reviewed this Monday at the study session, but I'd be more than happy to start over because I just handed you this morning the actual resolution. The election vendor was originally involved, and then Mark got involved, and then I consulted with the chief counsel of State Board of Elections, so he got involved, and as a result, what we have here in front of you is a resolution, and it'll be the same for Sims also. So we have basically two the same. But the framework is in place to divide those precincts according to the statutes. The only thing that we do not have today is the actual metes and bounds description. But the the resolution is going to, it directs the county clerk to cause that to be done. And graciously, county engineer is going to help us do that. And so that's,
Like I said, my concern is that we may be, and I know it's over the amount, and I don't know the reactionary part of that, that we're not creating more bureaucracy, or if there's a different way to not create, because we're creating another
creating
precinct,
new precincts.
a brand new precinct,
Yes.
but we're still keeping that within the same county board district, and I'm looking down the future, if we couldn't possibly use our GIS system to further delineate our population sources all across the county, so that like, when we have our 10-year census, we'll get a pretty good idea of, to make all these districts as close to possible of voters. And that being the case, I'm not sure that also wouldn't be a good time in the future to look at our precincts and say, do we actually need to add precincts? Because right now, I think we have some sort of disparity in the number in each precinct, or in the number in each district a little bit. So I don't know, I guess I'm going around a whole issue here. I'm just, like I said the other day, whenever we do this, I think then technically that makes us have like another set of election judges or something like that. Another-
Technically, that is
it
correct.
says anytime you have this, you're setting up another political entity, I think.
But as you described, Augie, you're not gonna, even though it technically does, in actual effect or reality, you're not gonna operate it like that, correct?
That is correct, because the law allows for the clustering of precincts.
Right.
And because Paris 5 in this case, well, and Sims, they're still gonna vote at the same place.
And I understand that for right now.
Right.
I'm just saying, somebody else down the road, a different time, we've created another political thing. That's-
Well, we're compelled to.
And we're
I'm
gonna
just
have,
saying, I'm just saying forward planning.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a better way, because like, I'm for actually as much clustering as possible, because I don't see the sense in having
Yeah.
7 people sit there.
But it seems to me like 5 years ago, when we did we eliminated, when we had to get the districts, because the districts were not, one of the districts was too high.
Mhm.
And we eliminated, 13?
13.
We eliminated that, and that was put into another precinct, but, so we actually had, 5 years ago, eliminated a precinct. And now, we've had to put one back, but in theory, you're not.
whatever you do or you don't do now doesn't preclude the possibility of having to make other changes.
5 years from now, you're gonna have to look at this, everything again.
Right.
And
That's all I'm
everything, and
saying.
this 15 could be eliminated,
Yeah.
depending on the population.
Or the
shift.
way you resplit it.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's all I'm saying, try to get back to make sure that you have, like, you'll never work the federal way of one person, one vote, I understand that. Anyway, food for thought. I don't have any problems with it. I just thought it need to be a discussion item myself, so.
And the way I'm reading this, we are directed to do this because of 10 ILCS 5-11-2, because of the size of the precinct. Do you want me to read this resolution?
Well, can I finish?
Sure.
I got a couple more things. The numbering, the naming of the precincts generally follows a numbering sequence. Ross 1 and 2, Young America 1 and 2. We're gonna have Sims 1 and 2. Because Paris 5 is already Paris 5, and we're creating a new precinct, we already have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. We don't have 13. I chose 15 because 5 and 15, I don't know, that's a crazy way of thinking of it, but 13 has been in and out of play over the years, and I just thought it'd be best to leave that alone and come up with the next numerical sequence at the advice of the State Board of Elections. So that's that. So I want you to know I'm not acting independently here, but I'm trying to do what I can do with the assistance of State's Attorney, State Board of Elections, election vendor.
Mr. Chairman, are you ready for a motion for this?
Yes.
I'd move that we adopt this resolution.
The first one, that is Paris 5.
Yeah, because that's mine, so I think I probably ought to do that.
Did we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second on the resolution dividing Paris 5 precinct into 2 precincts as described in the resolution. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Voigt?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnum?
Yes.
Heltzman?
Yes.
Next item is the resolution dividing Sims precinct into 2 precincts.
Have the only 11 voters over the 800, what happens if it drops down under 800? Does it still stay the same?
Yes.
It may be a stupid question, I don't know, but I just.
Well, once it
Very many
crosses
voters
800,
over.
you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
And between, well, if
So you
right
don't
now
go
it's
back.
under 800, I suppose we can go check and see, then we can withdraw it, but,
I just asked.
yeah, but basically, we're gonna try to get them as near equal as possible. And Sims Township, of course, Route 1 is gonna be the dividing line. The east side is Sims 1, the west side is Sims 2, and it's going to put it, it's not going to be an exact 400 split. It's going to be a little more than 400, a little under 400 to arrive at that number, but that's a clean dividing line. So, and if I could, and back up to Paris 5, it's the same way there. We're going to be a little more than 450 and a little under 450, but it's going to be very close. So, did that answer your question, Dan,
I think so.
or not?
I just thought we'd go through all this and maybe don't have to.
Well, at 800, you're
Yeah,
supposed to.
Right.
And we're at 800 on this one and 915 on the other.
So moved.
Do we have a motion?
In a second.
Andy did? I'm sorry. Who was the first? Dan and then Andy.
Okay, I have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Boyd?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnum?
Yes.
Heltzler?
Yes.
That resolution carried. Item 14, appoint the following to the Edgar County Board of Health with terms expiring in 2018. Dan, you've asked all these people that they were, and they are interested in serving again.
Yes.
Okay. Would you be interested in making that motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the 4 people on the Edgar County Health Department.
That's Dr. Shake, Dr. Phipps, Ginger Johnson, and John McNary. For the record. Did you have a second?
Yes.
We have a motion to second to appoint the following to the Edgar County Board of Health with terms expiring in 2018, July 1st. That's Dr. Shake, Dr. Phipps, Ginger Johnson, and John McNary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I'm gonna grab my second page. There it is. Item 18 is a resolution appointing David White as Commissioner for Union Drainage District Number 1 of the towns of Shiloh and Edgar and the County of Edgar and State of Illinois. Jeff moves.
Second.
Well, motion and second to appoint David White as Commissioner of the Union Drainage District Number 1 of the towns of Shiloh and Edgar, County of Edgar, State of Illinois. We'll have a roll call.
Patrick?
Yes.
Boyd?
Yes.
Zuber?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Farnum?
Yes.
Heltzler?
Yes.
Item 16 is a resolution to amend the raffle resolution to include poker runs. Go ahead.
Is it correct, I've read this stuff, and basically, we don't have to do it, but we can do it. Is that correct?
In essence, yes. Our old raffle resolution,
Meets the criteria for the state of Illinois.
it does. Mark did say we could use an updated one, and there is an updated one. But now the new one includes raffles and poker runs.
So that's apply for an application to have a poker run and pay a fee.
And currently, they don't have to.
Currently, there's nothing in our resolutions or ordinances that requires that in Edgar County.
And if we don't do anything, it doesn't, we're not in harm's way of the,
Somebody would
Police
have
for
to,
the state of
somebody
Illinois.
would have to press that issue. And, you know, as we mentioned, there's probably not a weekend that doesn't go by in the summertime that maybe any of us don't see a whole group of motorcycles heading in a certain direction.
and how would we police that? if we
How
went?
would you police that?
What about insurance? They have to have liability insurance and everything?
Yeah, it's listed in that.
And they have to be, I mean, we can waive the fees, but they have to be involved in an organization. They have to get authority from the organization and provide just a lot of hoops they gotta
Also
go through.
individual.
The sheriff wants to,
Records.
sheriff
Does that
has,
have anything to do with poker runs just originating in Edgar County or anyone that passes through our county?
Another good point.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that there was one poker run that, well, they wanted to end at Edgar County, but on their run, they stopped in Clark County and ended it there because several of the people were afraid or wouldn't come into Edgar County because they didn't have a license here. So I don't know where it originated, Jeff, and I just know that they didn't end it here. And it was for an Edgar County resident.
I think the board's hesitation on this is they don't want to charge for something that's done to benefit a person or a, right, is that correct?
And the record keeping and the policing and, you
Right.
know,
Insurance.
And I honestly haven't poured myself into this issue like I did the precinct issue. So I'm only good for a certain amount of information. However,
we need
if you want,
Can we table it for time being?
you should.
Or you don't want to?
Would you make that is a motion to table it?
Well, I think consensus opinion.
If we table it, then we have to act on it at some point in the future.
Sure.
If we do nothing, then
Then you
it
do.
just dies.
We can always resurrect it if there's an issue.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, in layman terms, I'm gonna throw this out there. What is a poker run? I realize I've heard the terminology over the years, I've never participated in
This
one,
is
but I'd like
an
to know.
event organized by an organized licensed under this chapter. Participants travel to multi-predetermined locations, including a key location, drawing a playing card or equivalent item at each location in order to assemble a facsimile of a poker hand or other numeric score. Poker runs includes dice runs, marble runs, and other events where the objective is to build the best hand or highest score by obtaining an item at each location.
Can you pay a fee to get into this?
Okay, you pay a fee to play this
Right.
poker
And a
hand,
donation.
and then the
Donation.
money is combined and given to someone for a,
Right,
okay.
whether it's for a, you know,
Well, I'm 53 years old, and I just thought they did it for fun, just because they had nothing else to do. It was just a nice day to ride bikes and go out there, and I had nothing against it, but
Item 17,
Yeah, didn't have-
officers and department.
What do you decide to do?
died for lack of a motion.
I didn't,
Yeah,
I
no
just
motion,
want to make sure.
unless someone wants to make a motion. Nope, okay, move on.
Item 17. Don, would you want to start this?
yes, I would be glad to, Mr. Chairman. You've been provided with your report. As you can see, we're starting to have to, the general fund's having to cover a little, well, now let's rephrase that. Our fees funds is starting to cover some of our levy funds, which is totally allowed. We are still better off than we were a year ago, where we were covering about $110,000 worth of levy funds. Now we're down about 100,000. So I'm saying those levied funds have improved to the point that they're lasting longer through the year before tax distributions happen on those levies. So that's a good thing. Jeff pointed out a little bit ago, moments ago, that the cash flow is down significantly.
Actually, 133,000 if you don't count anticipation warrants
Okay.
in
So
collections.
that would shed some light on why we're seeing such a difference when you're comparing from the month earlier and also the year earlier.
And we have an extra payroll.
Yeah. We had 3 payrolls in May, and then this one is already reflecting the one that's hitting Friday. So once again, cash flow, ins and outs, the timeliness of it. We're hoping to see some more state revenues come in by the end of the month. And if so, knock on wood, I may not have to borrow by the end of the month, but if I do, I do. I didn't borrow until towards the end of June last year, and it's looking like we may have to, but you know what, I'm gonna try to be a non-pessimist right now. As far as the most important issue at hand is the tax bills have been mailed. They were officially, everything was mailed as of yesterday morning. People are already coming in. Most people are paying both installments of the few that have shown up this early, and that's not unusual. We have people that feel like they need to pay their taxes before they start their summer. They want to get it behind them, which is fine. However, there are some of us that will do the traditional pay on the installment date one at a time. Not a problem with it. We were finalized to us on the 26th. I finalized the order on the 27th of May, and I'm happy to say yesterday was the 10th business day, so we did honor the within 10 business days like we've been able to do in the past. So credit to my staff for diligently stuffing all those envelopes along with me. I did my share, but very good help. Helps me out. Information on the website should be updated by the end of the week, where a lot of this information is out there for people to look at. Right now, it's just, we're kind of in a gray area from the transition from last year's information to this year's. We're hoping it's going to happen by the end of the week. I would encourage folks that have gotten their tax bills, if they notice an exemption is not there that should be, to kindly come into our office and speak with the assessment office, and they will work with them to see what they can do to get that exemption back on there, or if they don't qualify, they don't qualify. So, any questions? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Aaron, does the highway department have anything? Tax assessor.
I just wanted to let you know that we have set the public farm hearing for July 9th. It's usually kind of a non-event thing, but we're very concerned. This hearing is actually for 2016 assessments that's due and payable taxes in 17. But our concern is that taxpayers and in particular taxing bodies aren't really getting a grip of what this change in how farmland's assessed, what it's going to do to them. So we're going big. We have partnered with the Farm Bureau. She's inviting all her people, some legislators. She's got me hooked up with a state level Farm Bureau person that will be speaking, because the changes are going to be significant, especially for taxing bodies. So we hope to have a big crowd. Again, that's July 9th.
That you're saying it's gonna be up or down?
Everyone's used to seeing a 10% across the board, and that's not happening anymore. It's going to be 10% of the median soil. So the guys at the high end are going to be thrilled, because theirs is only going to go up the amount that the guy in the middle is going up. It's these guys in the bottom level soils that are lower, they're going to go up the amount that the guy in the middle is going, which is much higher. And in some cases, they may see their farmland assessment double. They're not going to be happy. But county-wide, since we typically have a higher level soil, if you average that out, my prediction right now is around a 1% increase, where we're used to seeing 10%.
So is there any of those changes that will be like in those wooded areas that have land underneath them that have never been really charged anything?
Well, no. It's just going to be what the per acre increase is what we're discussing. And again, this is actually starting for 15, and that hearing was last year, but my recollection is there might have been about 6 people there. So we're going to do this in the Farm Bureau basement, hoping for a really big crowd. And this lady from the state level will come and really give the hows and whys and how this is going to affect everybody.
You know, the Farm Bureau's sending out any information?
They're going to include it. Christine's been working with me. She's going to include it in their newsletter, and yeah, and there will be invitations sent out to everyone involved. 6 o'clock.
Dina, now you're, just to emphasize, the Illinois Department of Revenue is the one that dictates all this, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And it's all done by
Something.
formulas and all soils?
Right,
Okay.
right. This has come about because at a recent class I attended, they talked about how farmland costs and expenses, income at a high level soil versus a low level soil is about a 2-to-1 ratio. But when you're looking at these assessments, the ratio is more like 42-to-1. So you've got a guy at a high-end level going up 10%. He's going up a big chunk of money. And these guys down here that have a much lower, a 10% increase for them is not very much. So you have the higher and lower just screaming up high, and these little guys are plugging up you know, a little bit every year, and they're not increasing at the same rate, if you will.
Or you're gonna get Carl caught up with the rest of it.
That's what
That's why the meeting, because it's such a hard thing to explain. And we have
Yes.
this lady here, she'll have probably charts out the wazoo to share with everybody, so we're hoping for good attendance.
They had what they considered a perfect formula, now they're going to tweak it.
Yes, and I did ask how long they think it would take to get everything proportionate, and their estimate was about 15 years. After that, I'll be gone, I won't care.
So our taxes are gonna double for the next 15 years?
Well, for these lower guys,
Yeah.
they're gonna increase at the rate that the middle guy did.
Buy some of that ground out west of Red.
Yeah. Carl's gonna pay $15 now in his taxes.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Well, thank you.
And may the force be with you.
Probation,
Nothing new to report?
ESDA,
Still working on stuff for our annual exercise, which is gonna be September 3rd of this year. And then we had our first tornado warnings that went out. We're trying to make sure everyone, because it's something that you're not automatically signed up for. You have to physically either call us, go on the website, you know, to register. We're trying to make sure everyone knows that it's out there, because, you know, we have people say.
oh, to get their calls you're talking about, I
Yes, to
think.
get you can either get a phone call or a text message.
Yes.
So we're trying to promote that. We're gonna get with the local newspapers and try to run something there. We usually go out to the fair. We get a lot of people at the fair various times, set a booth up and register people there on the spot. So we're just trying to make sure everybody knows about it, and people like cell phone maybe numbers have changed, or a lot of people have went away with their home phones and they went to a cell phone and they haven't registered their cell phone, stuff like that. So other than that, that's about it.
Thank you.
What about the sirens that they took out? Did that help put those back in? Because not everybody has access to cell phone anymore.
That was that was before I was there. That was when Dwayne was still out there.
Just ask.
Yeah, and I don't know the
Somebody-
reasoning. I
somebody
don't
asked me the
personally,
other
yeah,
day
I don't
why
know the
you had
reasoning why they
sirens
took it
going.
out. It was a board decision, I guess. And they took the sirens out and they went to the WINS emergency alert system, so.
If I remember right, Newport, that's how we got those, but they were a high maintenance
Yeah.
item, and they were having lots of trouble, and
I
they
didn't
decided
know
to
this.
get rid of them, and I think some of them were sold to some other communities.
I just asked.
High maintenance.
We put one at your house, Dan.
I was close.
Yeah.
Hospital had one.
Thank you.
But it's good for the people in the villages and town, but
Sheriff.
other people.
I have nothing to report this time.
Does the county clerk have anything?
County clerk has spoken enough for today. Thank you.
Jeff?
I think we covered finances over the last few days pretty good. Airport meeting, the Airport Advisory Board is in fact recommending that we explore the possibilities of Mr. Hubbard and leasing some ground long-term to he and his associates or company to erect a facility and do business out of the airport. So at this point, I don't know how you want to proceed.
Without objection, I would want the county board airport committee to do the negotiating or and come get back with us what you find out.
Okay, he did call yesterday to ask what had happened so far and said that he would be back to us at the end of this week or the first of next to see what our preference was. So he was active on that.
Have you got any feedback from Hanson's about where?
No, not yet. And we obviously don't want to incur expense or, time on that until we knew what everybody's and what the board's intention
Will
was.
charges for that?
Well, they might.
Okay.
I mean, they've been doing a lot of extra work here lately, and
Okay, that's good.
sooner or later, somebody's gonna pay the freight.
Okay.
So, also, we had, the board is also recommending to the chairman the airport committee and the advisory committee, that Joe Shiner and Dale Barkley be reappointed when the time comes at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Again, you've checked with both of them and they're all willing.
absolutely, yeah, everybody's on board with that, okay? Lastly, as far as personnel, we have several things to deal with. We're gonna have a meeting tonight, the sheriff's committee, and we need to get the finance committee together. We're gonna start putting out the budget here next month, or the skeleton or the outline of the budget to the department heads and elected officials, so that they can start building their budget. And we would expect the due date to be the first or second week in September, right after Labor Day, for them to have that in. So that's all I got at this point, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Carl?
Nothing.
Mike?
Nothing.
Do we find out on our audit, do we have the extension or do we?
Thank you. Yes, I checked with Joe this morning, and we do have 60 days. I did let the chairman know that.
Yes.
I apologize. We can do it at the July meeting, okay? But we also, if we have another need for a special meeting, we could do it there also, whatever works.
That's all I have.
Andy?
I guess just a couple of things. Number one, I'm still waiting on the estimate from the company that came in and is doing the estimate. He has been, meaning the person from Midland Engineering has been in contact with me, and they are working on an estimate. I don't know whether more time means is worse news or not, but anyway, he indicated that he should get back with me in the next couple of weeks. So.
He wouldn't give you a hint or anything.
No, but we talked to the guys the day that they did it. It wasn't. I asked him about painting the roof, and he said you can't paint over holes. So there's some holes in the metal and different things. So
Yeah.
I guess just wait to hear from him. Other than that, that's about it.
Dan?
I did have an employee suffer a dog bite, serving papers to Doug on her a couple of weeks ago. They took her to the emergency room. She had a couple puncture wounds, but checked with her the other day, she's fine.
She didn't have rabies?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's-
I mean, the employee of the dog.
Yeah, the employee.
The dog did have all the shots, so it didn't have to be quarantined. And Andre handled the situation correctly, so no problem there. Still working on replacing the heating, air conditioning at the health department. We're basically back to square one. I think the reason why I don't want to spend any money, so suggestion was wait till it quits totally and then do something, but I don't think that's going to be an option, so. Meeting next Wednesday, so I'm going to lay it on the table and see what they're going to do. I think we probably worked with it long enough. I'm kind of tired of trying to get something done. So I'm going to leave it up to them, see what they want to do. That's where we're at.
Well, I thank you for what you've done on it. That is as anybody can tell you that's been on the school board or any building thing, that is a long process.
Yes, it is.
By the time you get through all of it, and then a lot of work, and probably something that a part-time board member shouldn't have to do.
Well, I got all kinds of time. I don't mind doing it. I mean, it's a challenge. That's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Anything else? Do we need a closed session? I would entertain a motion to that effect then.
You want to read it, Mr. Zuber? You're so good at it.
Yeah.
Motion to go into closed session to discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of public body, pending litigation, and also we need to review our closed session minutes. Is that still?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, and compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of specific employees of a public body, pending litigation, or review of closed session minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Mr. Clerk?
Hey, there's Mark right there.
Yeah, there he is.
Can we just shit can that?
Yeah,
Like it did?
Well, yeah, I
Go
just
back
turned
in.
that on, so let's make a motion, go in, back into closed session.
I move we go back into closed session since the state's attorney is here.
Okay.
Second.
For all the reasons that we said earlier.
Everything that's on the agenda.
We have a motion and a second to go back into executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.